So Dasef, one of the things that I really appreciated the most about going to the event, and obviously I love nerding out the practice courts, is like how detailed some of these players are, like how detailed the players are with their
Yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between, like, at one point I was sitting behind the practice courts, and right in front of me was Thomas Mahatch and Casper Ruud, and they were playing points, um, very very detailed. Casper was very detailed about how he was handling returns, and then on the next court over, uh, Ben Shelton was on the court with his dad, like going through just like some drills. And so like even like from the down to like targets on serves, like the way that they were set up. It's like, we used to throw cones out there, or
Yeah.
a little like, a little four ball tripod, but like he had like lanes of tennis balls.
Yep.
Like it's like I got one, two,
I,
three, one, two, three, and like
I
I'm trying to hit it through this
I
lane.
peeped
And
that. Yep. That was I really appreciate that
yeah,
actually.
it's
Like,
like it's a like the levels,
yep.
like the levels,
Uh-huh.
um and then like even like someone like Alex Mickelson, right? Like
Uh-huh.
he lost earlier in the event, but was scheduled to play doubles on Thursday night with I think Rinky Hijikata.
Uh-huh.
And so Alex was working out with one of the college players, and like just watching him go side to side. It's like, dude, someone that big shouldn't be able to move like that. And he's just like having fun. He's staying loose, having fun. Um, he's like talking to one of his friends behind. He's like, dude, this dude on the other side of here can't miss.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Like this guy's sick.
Yep. No,
So it was,
it's I mean, you really, I think, get a chance to, see I th why they are where they are. I think at first glance, you're like, and I don't know, I mean, maybe through different eyes, you don't really think there's anything special going on. And then when you look closer, like you said, see the level of detail, and that's what makes the difference. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And that's why I highly encourage people, like, the average fan will watch tennis on TV,
Uh-huh.
and then like in the way that tennis is shot, right? Just
Yep.
because of the way that the court's laid out and the way the stadiums are, like that high view
Yep.
behind the baseline looking down,
Doesn't do it
you
justice.
it doesn't do it justice at all. Like it's probably the best way to it probably is the best way to shoot it.
Uh-huh.
But when you bring the camera angle down a
Yep.
little bit, like
Yep.
sometimes some of the events can do that, you start to see how how they're actually playing, like how they're actually moving,
Yep.
how hard sometimes they're not hitting it, and
Uh,
how hard sometimes they are hitting it. Like
uh-huh. Uh-huh.
there can be some cat and mouse in a rally where they're not hitting the ball as hard as they can, but then sometimes it's like
Yep.
corner to corner, it's screaming, right?
Yep.
And I think when you go out to the practice courts and you get like right behind the players on the baseline,
Uh-huh.
I think at that point you start to see like,
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
they're good.
Yeah.
Like they're so good.
Yeah.
They don't miss hit balls.
No, no. And they're placing the ball where they want it to be.
Yeah.
They're not just not whacking it and hoping to hit a certain, like, this general area. Like, they're putting it in a specific spot. It's amazing. I mean, the racket really is an extension of their hand and their
Yeah.
arm.
And I saw like Arthur Kazuk.
Yeah.
He was on the practice court for like 2 hours. And I swear he was doing the same thing over and over and over. It was like running to his right, hitting the forehand down the line, like ball coming from deuce court, cross court, running over to his right, turning that ball down the line. And I think he probably hit it like 500 times. And I'm not even, and like his misses were all the same. Like when he was missing in the net.
Yeah.
So like I was like, well, why don't you just like stop missing in the net?
Right.
But then you think about like, well, obviously he can make this shot with more spin, but that's not the goal here.
Yeah.
He's trying to move this ball through the court when changing directions. So he's got to get comfortable hitting it.
Right. Right.
Without that much margin.
I feel like too that, I mean, that's at a tournament. Like, what's happening, like, with just him and his coach in private, like on a real practice day.
I mean, I guess he lost early in the tournament, but like it felt like it was just him and his coach, 2 hour block, and they were just working out, just working out. But like the level of specificity was like blew my mind.
Uh-huh.
I was so like taken aback by like how specific they were with
I mean,
this particular drill.
from for me growing up playing tennis, that's one thing that I wish I had done more, which is gone to more pro tournaments.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I think it would have helped me a lot because I think even seeing tennis on TV um, elevated my game. Like I would watch Wimbledon or U.S. Open, and I just felt like pumped after watching it and going out and
right.
practice. You know, like
Yeah,
just that small little motivation, but like being able to see the detail in the practice and like seeing pros up close and personal and seeing like folks who've made it to the mountaintop and being like, okay, so this is kind of what it takes. I think that would have been really helpful. And so nowadays, I feel like I don't know, especially with social media, internet, it's so much more accessible um, than it was in the past. And so I'm sure that's like pushing, the accelerating like the I don't know, uh tennis players, junior tennis players skill set like even
sure.
faster,
Yeah.
than
If you have the ability
mm,
to, if you're one of those ones that has the ability to reach for it and
yep,
actually do it,
yep,
um, I think seeing it in any way, shape, or form, right? Like even if you see how, okay, so like one time I saw a video, like one of the rare videos that Roger Federer ever posted about his practice, and
uh-huh, uh-huh,
he was just kind of at this one part of the video, he's sitting on the side on the bench,
uh-huh,
and his rackets are sitting next to him,
uh-huh,
and he had like six broken strings,
uh-huh.
like in practice.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, how hard is
yeah.
he going to break six
So,
rackets in
yeah,
one
yep,
practice? Like,
yep,
oh, he's going that hard.
yeah, yeah,
Like the A level, and we did an interview. These aren't interviews. What am I talking about? Did a podcast with Scoville Jenkins, which will probably come out after this one comes out. We
uh-huh,
recorded a while ago, but he was talking a lot about like the process from him going from a good sectional level player to a good nationally ranked player, and then like an internationally ranked junior
yeah,
before he turned pro. And he was talking about some of those night sessions that he used to have with like Nathan Sachs and TH
yep,
at UTA on like Friday nights, and
yeah, yeah.
like
I
how
had like two of those.
okay,
I know.
okay,
I
so
got a little taste of those. Yeah,
when you start looking at the tiers of levels, right?
so
Like Sko was
it's
at that
intense.
level.
Yeah,
He ended up being better than Sachs. I would probably say, looking at the resume, Sachs was a little better than you,
mm-hmm,
and then you were better than me. I didn't even like, okay, they were doing it.
mm-hmm,
You did it a couple times.
mm-hmm.
I didn't even know about it,
Right, right,
right?
right.
But like when he explained it to me, it was like, oh, so that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it takes. Like, yeah, we'd be out there for like 4, 5, 6 hours on
Oh yeah,
a
oh yeah.
Friday afternoon and Friday night, go home at midnight.
Yep,
And it's like, oh,
yep.
okay. That's what it takes. And you don't know until you see it.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely remember running until I was puking
Yeah.
and like sore as hell the next morning. But that's the level it takes consistently in order to get to that that
And then
next.
access to pros, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
Vahaley, he was saying that Vahaley would, whenever he was in town, like he would use Sko as a hitting partner every
Yep,
once in a while. He'd pick him up from high school.
yep,
Like he's with North Atlanta right down the street.
yep.
Um, and then like they'd go practice. So like at that point, Vahaley was, top 50 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a top 50 player that you're hitting with and you're very competitive with, and
Amazing.
sometimes taking him to like, pushing him to his limits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then you see how hard he works, but then you can also see that the level's attainable. Like you're
Yeah,
like, I can do this.
yeah, yeah.
And like to your point about going to tournaments, like you gotta, if that's your goal,
Mm-hmm.
you need to see it
Yeah.
to believe it.
I mean, we say representation matters in a lot of different ways these days, but it matters in a very basic way too. Like you just need to see it. Like you need to see it represented in some type of way,
Yeah.
in order to be able to figure out how to get there. So,
Like what was it like it took forever for for someone to break the record for the 4 minute mile, and then
yeah,
like after someone broke the record for broke 4 minutes, like a bunch
it's
of people broke
yep,
it right after. It's
yep,
like, oh, it can be done. I
yep.
just gotta, it's within my ability.
I mean, it's a testament to like how much of everything is mental, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we look at someone like Djokovic and we're like, mentally, he's a different level, right? Like, we see a lot of talent, but what it really takes is some belief, and just some trial and error and determination in order to get to a certain place. But so much of what of I think any high level of achievement is mental.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The ability to stay in the uncomfortable spaces, but be confident in the idea that you can at least make progress. You can get a little bit better. You can continue to go when it feels like going is only like very incremental.
yeah, I mean, when I see Djokovic win a Grand Slam, when I see LeBron out there dunking at his age, when I see, Steph Curry, hitting game winner threes for the Olympics, I'm like, that's here, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And when you see, taking you back to the Dallas Open of it all, when you see the players on the practice court,
yep,
like doing the thing, the repetition, and then you see it show up like at 30 all,
yep,
you know
yep,
4-3 in the third set. It's that's why that's why Artur Kazuka is going to hit that shot 500 times so that he can hit it when that one
no
time he
what,
needs to hit it,
yep,
and he knows he's gonna be able to trust it. And so yeah, that's the I don't know. I feel like everyone should go to see live tennis. Like anyone
yeah,
who loves tennis should go and just be there.
yeah,
It's kind of an infectious thing, and like if you're at an event where you can walk around, like
mm-hmm,
listen to other coaches, like listen to people talk.
mm-hmm.
Like players are. It's the one beautiful thing about our game. Like there isn't that much separation between the players and the fans at a lower level event.
And hearing, I mean, for me, I think also hearing people talk also confirms how little people know. It's like,
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but that doesn't make sense at all. I
yeah.
don't think that's gonna work. But um, and I'm not, and, you need to hear it all. You need to hear the good, bad, and ugly in order to know like what's actually gonna work. So
Yeah, because there is no delineation amongst fans.
mm-mm,
It's
mm-mm.
everyone who is a tennis fan is an equal tennis fan,
Right,
regardless if they know the scoring system
right,
or if they understand much or anything about like technique or tactics. Um, if they know who John Isner is or they don't,
right.
like I guess it doesn't matter.
Yep, yep.
It doesn't matter.
One of my favorite pastimes is watching tennis matches in other time zones after the match, after the results are in, and listen to the
Okay.
commentators
Yeah.
after the
Oh,
fact. And I'm like,
okay.
yeah, no, that was totally wrong. That was
Yeah,
totally,
comment. I mean, that's probably another talk show, right? But
yeah,
commentators are, you get they're all coming at it from a different perspective. Like,
yeah, yeah,
a lot of them are media members. Like they are trained to be, in this seat with a microphone in front of them or whatnot and
yep,
talk about sports. That doesn't mean that they know how to play the sport. And I think
yeah,
tennis is one of those things where
it's true.
there's a lot of nuance involved,
Mm-hmm.
and you can only get so much of a grasp of it without having done it at a certain level.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
both played in college, and I think that's a fair representation of like the some of the things that the pros go through. Not obviously like not good enough to hang with them,
mm-hmm.
but like understanding it from a player standpoint, there are things that we would consider that like someone who's paid to talk about tennis who does not play tennis or has not played tennis
Yep.
um, doesn't really understand.
And I'm really interested to hear more. I've saved a bunch of sound bites from Madison Keys' coach and husband.
Yeah,
I think he has a really cool perspective on how to approach the game. And I feel like I like. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like back in the day, tennis and the approach was a lot more strict, um, and a lot more. I don't want to say serious, but it was very strict in how you should approach the game. And I feel like nowadays there may be more of a approach of love, of fun, of um, I don't know. It's a little bit more. I think some of the old school guys would maybe call it a little bit more soft, but I feel like that soft approach is actually beneficial to excelling in performance.
yeah. I mean, when you say that, I think of Carlos Alcaraz like
Uh-huh.
automatically. Like
Uh-huh.
he plays a very. I mean, he has a. I think he says he has a tattoo. It's like three C's, which is in Spanish. It's for like once for head, heart, and cojones,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right. That's right.
But like there is a certain level of like once you have all the ability, once
Mm-hmm.
you have all the shots and do all the things, you gotta like maybe quiet the noise and just go with what you think.
Yeah.
Like go with what feels right. And obviously with the racket technology, the players can do, you know, different things
Right.
now than
Right.
they could then. So, you know, it's a little more like you're not using like, you know, send gut and you gotta stay cross court in these cross court rallies all the time. These guys are just pulling line from God knows where,
Yep. Yep.
whenever they feel. So it's yeah, I think you know, they want to set an intention for the next month. We're gonna try to get Bjorn Frantangelo on the podcast.
I
That's
like
my goal.
that.
Set it out loud.
That
Um
I like it.
I know Robbie used to coach him. So
Okay. Okay.
Robbie, if you're listening, let's talk.
Yeah, that's
Um
right.
but yeah, yeah. I don't want to go on too long. We've been here
Yeah.
for like an
Yeah.
hour. I think it's
Yeah.
Dallas was fun.
Yeah.
We'll try to go back again next year. But also going to keep just going to tennis tournaments because
Yeah.
it's good to understand, you know, what everyone sees, and it's always good to just be at live tennis.
Mhm.
Be at live tennis.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to Charleston. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
Charleston's going to be great.
All
Charleston's
right.
going to be great. All
Cool.
right, Seth, it was real.
All right, man.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.